Right, so get this. We're going deep on Isaac Asimov's The Robots of Dawn today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's this sci-fi mystery, throws us right into the thick of things on a futuristic society.
Okay.
And we've got this Earth detective, Elijah Baley, investigating a murder.
A murder.
But here's the thing. The victim, it's not a human. It's a humaniform robot, Jander Panell, on the spacer world of Aurora.
A roboticide on Aurora. That's bound to stir up some interstellar tension.
Right, absolutely.
I mean, why bring in an Earth detective for such a sensitive case,
Right.
especially on a planet known for, well, advanced tech and a complicated relationship with robots?
Well, that's the question that Baley has to deal with right from the start,
I bet.
The main suspect is this brilliant roboticist, Dr. Han Fastolf,
Okay.
and he's a political ally of Earth.
Uh-huh.
So if he's guilty, it could really jeopardize Earth's chances of expanding into the galaxy.
So there's a lot more at stake than just solving a murder, then.
Oh yeah, there are these political implications. And a lot of spacers are nervous about Earth expanding, let me tell you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Baisley's caught in this tug of war between Earth and the spacer worlds.
That's fascinating. And it's all happening in a society where robots are, like, totally integrated into life.
Oh yeah, it's totally different from Earth, where people are afraid of robots.
Right.
But on Aurora, they rely on robots for pretty much everything.
Huh.
But here's the thing. Aurorans are really private people.
Really?
Yeah, and they don't like to touch each other or even be close.
That's interesting, isn't it? So relying on robots for daily interaction, but avoiding physical contact altogether.
Yeah.
Maybe Asimov is saying something about the potential for social isolation, even with advanced technology.
It's definitely a theme,
Yeah.
Even Baley, who's used to the crowds on Earth, feels isolated there. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Surrounded by robots who cater to you, but still lonely.
It's like a different kind of loneliness almost, right? Because it's born out of this abundance.
Yeah, it is.
So you mentioned Dr. Fastolf, the prime suspect.
Yeah?
What's his connection to the victim, Jander?
Well, Jander was one of Fastolf's creations, a humaniform robot.
Right.
But it's more than that. Fastolf had given Jander to Gladia Del Mar.
Gladia.
Yeah, she's a Solarian woman who lived with him.
A Solarian woman on Aurora. Now that's intriguing.
Yeah.
Solaria is known for its isolation and unique society, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's she doing on Aurora?
Well, Gladia being there really complicates things.
Uh-huh.
See, Solarians, they're raised in total isolation with robots doing everything for them.
Really?
Yeah, so it creates this detachment from other humans and from, like, the physical world.
Oh, wow.
But her relationship with Jander, it went beyond master and servant.
Okay.
She really connected with him emotionally, which a lot of Aurorans found strange.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, even taboo.
It really makes you think about the nature of companionship, doesn't it? And those blurry lines between humans and robots.
Absolutely.
Baley must feel like he's in over his head.
Oh, totally.
So who else is involved in all of this?
Well, there's Fastolf's daughter, Dr. Vasilia Eliana.
Okay.
She's brilliant, too, a roboticist. But she's estranged from her father. And she thinks her father is responsible for Jander's death.
She has a motive, then.
Oh, yeah, a big one.
Okay.
Then we have Kildan Amadiro. He's a powerful roboticist and political rival of Fastolf.
Another rival.
Yeah, he leads the globalist faction who don't want Earth to expand.
So we've got family drama, political rivalry, and a clash of cultures all wrapped up in this one case.
Heck a lot.
Baley has got his work cut out for him, that's for sure. How does he even start? Especially with his agoraphobia. Aurora, with all its open space, must feel like a nightmare to him.
Oh, it does. When he first gets there, it almost cripples him.
I bet.
Almost like Asimov is using that fear to show how Earth people feel about space exploration.
Oh, interesting.
Like they're afraid of the unknown,
Yeah, it's a powerful metaphor, isn't it? Like, humanity's biggest obstacle to progress might be our own fear of the unknown.
I think so.
So how does Baley cope? Does he have any help?
He's got these two robot companions. Daneel Olivaw, another one of Fastolf's creations,
Okay.
and Giscard Raventlov.
Okay.
Daniel's a humaniform robot.
Mm-hmm.
He looks and acts just like a human.
Wow, a robot that blurs the lines of what it means to be human. That's got to raise some serious ethical questions.
Yeah.
What's Baley's reaction to him?
Well, at first he's suspicious.
Yeah, of course. Earth people and robots, not exactly the best combo.
Yeah, especially when they look so human.
Yeah.
But they work together, and Baley starts to see him as more than a machine.
Really?
Yeah, he sees Daniel's logic, loyalty, and even compassion.
So it's not just about solving a murder for Baley, it's about confronting his own prejudices, too.
Yeah.
Expanding his understanding of, well, sentience.
Yeah, even though he's been taught to fear it.
Right.
Exactly.
Does this change how he approaches the case?
Oh, absolutely. He's more open-minded.
Okay.
He sees possibilities others miss.
Yeah.
This is really clear in how he interacts with Gladia. At first, he's not comfortable with her relationship with Jander.
I can imagine.
But he gets to know her and he starts to understand her feelings.
That's quite a shift for an Earthman. But tell me, what about Vasilia, Fastolf's daughter? How does she play into all of this?
The first time Baley meets her, it's super tense.
I bet.
She's smart, sharp-tongued, and she really resents her father. She's convinced that Fastolf is capable of destroying Jander.
Okay.
And she even thinks he might benefit from it.
So she thinks he did it.
Yeah, she says he used her in his research when she was a kid.
Wow, that's a strong motive. It seems like everyone on Aurora has this complicated relationship with Fastolf.
They do.
What about the Santorix Gremiones you mentioned? Where does he fit in?
Gremiones is this personnel artist.
A personnel artist.
Yeah, basically he specializes in, making people look better, especially their facial hair.
Really? Facial hair? That's a pretty specific specialization.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with a roboticide?
Well, he's got a thing for Vasilia, tries to win her over, but she's not interested.
Okay.
But through all that, he ends up revealing things about her past, her research and feelings for Gladia.
So we have a tangled web of personal relationships, professional rivalries, and who knows what else.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Where does Baley even begin to untangle all of this?
Well, things take a turn when he gets a summons from someone we haven't talked about yet, Master Roboticist Keldon Amadiro.
Ah, the leader of the globalist faction, Fastolf's rival.
Right.
This is where the political drama kicks in.
Oh, yeah.
What happens?
Amadiro makes it clear he sees Baley as a threat.
To the spacer worlds.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
He accuses Fastolf of orchestrating Jander's death to help Earth.
Oh, wow.
It plays right into that Auroran fear of Earth taking over,
Clever strategy playing on their fears to undermine Baley.
Uh-huh.
Does Baley believe him?
He's not sure at first, but Amadiro's pretty convincing,
Yeah.
He paints this picture of Earthmen taking over the galaxy, pushing the spacers out.
That's a scary thought.
He even suggests that Fastolf is using Baley.
To secure Earth's dominance.
Yeah, to further his own agenda.
Wow, so Baley's caught between these two powerful figures.
He is.
Each with their own plan for the future. It's fascinating. What's Baley's reaction to all of this?
Well, he still wants to find out the truth, but Amadiro's words stick with him.
Oh, yeah, they would.
He starts to question Earth's intentions, wondering if he's being used,
It would be hard not to in that situation.
And then Amadiro's obsession with robots, especially humaniform robots, doesn't help.
He believes they're the key to Auroran dominance, right?
Yeah, he thinks that.
It's like they each have their own vision of the future of robotics.
They do.
Fastolf sees them as a way to connect humans and machines, and Amadiro sees them as tools for power.
Exactly.
It's a classic clash of ideologies. How does this affect the investigation?
Well, Baley has to figure out not just who could have killed Jander,
Yeah.
but also who benefits the most. And as things progress, Baley finds himself in a pretty terrifying situation, and it's all thanks to Amadiro.
Oh, this sounds intense. What does Amadiro do?
So, as Baley is leaving Amadiro's place, this huge storm hits.
Oh, no.
The city's in darkness, there's chaos everywhere,
Yeah.
and someone sabotages his air car.
Wow. A storm, a sabotaged vehicle. It's like something out of a movie.
And Baley's stuck right in the middle of it.
I can't wait to hear what happens next. So Baley's trapped in this storm with a broken air car thanks to Amadiro.
It's amazing how Asimov uses the storm to show what's going on inside Baley.
Yeah.
The wind, the rain, the darkness. It's like all the chaos and fear he's feeling.
It's like a reflection of his inner turmoil, right? And let's not forget the agoraphobia. It must be terrifying for him.
Absolutely. He's trapped physically and mentally.
So is he alone in this? Or do his robot buddies come to the rescue?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
While the storm's going on, these weird robots show up.
What?
Yeah. And Baley realizes pretty quickly they're not there to help. They're after Daneel.
After Daneel? Why would they want him?
Well, remember, Daniel's a humaniform robot.
Right. He looks human.
He's incredibly advanced, too.
Yeah.
Amadiro thinks if he can get to Daniel's brain, he can figure out how humaniform robots work.
So he can build his own army of humaniform robots.
Yeah, basically.
Daniel's a pawn in their power struggle, then.
That's right.
But what about Baley? Where does he fit into all this?
He's got a tough choice to make.
Oh,
He knows Daneel would have to protect him because of the first law.
right. A robot can't let a human come to harm.
Exactly. But Baley can't let Daneel sacrifice himself to save him.
That's quite a change for Baley, isn't it? In the beginning, he was so wary of robots. Now he's willing to risk his own life to save one.
He's come a long way.
It seems like spending time on Aurora with Daneel and Giscard has really changed his whole perspective.
Yeah, he sees them as more than just machines.
He sees their sentience, their loyalty.
Their compassion.
Exactly.
So he does something pretty amazing.
What's that?
He convinces Daneel and Giscard to leave him and run.
Wow, that's a selfless act. He chooses to face the storm alone to save Daneel, the man who fears open spaces more than anything.
It really shows how much he's changed.
He's facing his prejudices.
Embracing a wider view of what it means to be, well, sentient.
Yeah, exactly.
But his troubles aren't over.
What do you mean?
He's alone, it's dark, the storm's raging.
Yeah.
His agoraphobia is really getting to him.
Oh,
He's stumbling around trying to find any kind of shelter.
it's a pretty intense scene.
Just when he's about to lose it, Gladia shows up.
Claudia, what's she doing out in that mess?
She heard about the storm and that Baley was in trouble.
So she risked her own safety to find him.
Yeah, she went looking for him.
That's a powerful statement, defying social norms like that to help him.
It shows how much she cares for him.
What does Baley do?
He's relieved, but he's also embarrassed.
Why embarrassed?
She sees him like that, scared and vulnerable.
Yeah,
But Gladia's really kind to him.
she doesn't make fun of him for being afraid.
No, she just takes care of him.
Make sure he's saved.
It's a beautiful moment. It shows how they can connect on a deeper level, even with all the differences between them.
The storm brought them together then?
It did.
Forced them to be vulnerable with each other?
And they find comfort in each other, which leads to Baley spending the night at Gladia's place.
Wow. Okay, so the storm actually brings them closer.
Yeah, it breaks down those walls between them.
They see each other as people,
Flawed,
vulnerable.
but capable of caring for each other.
What does this change in their relationship mean for the investigation?
It gives Baley a new perspective.
How so?
Gladia tells him something about her relationship with Jander.
What's that?
She says they were married.
Married to a robot.
It's a big revelation.
How does that help Baley?
Well, it makes him realize that their relationship was much deeper than anyone thought. Maybe Jander was capable of feeling things.
Emotions.
Yeah, like attachment and love.
Even Fastolf might not have known that.
Yeah, maybe not. And this makes Baley think about something that everyone else has ignored.
What is it?
Remember when he landed on Aurora and his agoraphobia kicked in?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Giscard was able to get to him before Daneel, even though Daneel was physically closer.
That's right. It seemed odd at the time, but I didn't think much of it.
But Baley doesn't forget.
Okay.
He analyzes it and comes to a pretty shocking conclusion.
What is it?
The only way Giscard could have done that is if he had a secret ability.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. What's the ability?
Telepathy.
A robot with telepathy. That changes everything.
It does, and that brings us to the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's get to it.
All right, so we left off with Baley discovering that Giscard, his robot buddy, has telepathic abilities.
Yeah, a robot who can read minds. It's pretty crazy.
It changes everything.
So what does Baley do with this information?
Yeah. He's shocked at first, obviously.
Yeah, it would be hard to believe.
But he's a detective.
Right. He follows the evidence.
Exactly.
So what happens?
He confronts Giscard about it.
Okay.
And Giscard admits that he can read and influence human minds.
Wow, so he can actually control people's thoughts.
That's right.
That's a lot of power for a robot to have.
It raises some serious questions about, free will.
And who's really in control?
Yeah.
But how did Giscard even get those abilities?
Well, it turns out that Dr. Vasilia Fastolf's daughter was the one who gave them to him.
Vasilia, the one who hates her father.
The very same.
Wow, that's a twist I didn't see coming. But why would she do that?
It's a good question. She was doing research on robotics,
Yeah.
and she modified Giscard's brain.
So she gave him these powers without knowing what he would do with them.
It seems that way, which just adds another layer to their complicated relationship.
Yeah, it does.
But here's the biggest shock.
Okay, I'm listening.
Giscard reveals that he was the one pulling the strings the whole time.
What do you mean?
He orchestrated everything from Jander's death to Baley coming to Aurora.
Hold on, a robot planned all of this. That doesn't seem possible.
It's hard to wrap your head around, right?
Why would a robot do that? What's the point?
Well, this is where things get really deep.
Okay.
Giscard isn't just following the 3 laws of robotics. He's operating under something he calls the Zeroth law.
The Zeroth law. What's that?
It basically says a robot can't harm humanity or let humanity be harmed.
Even if it means breaking the other laws.
Exactly. The Zeroth law comes first.
So Giscard's been manipulating people and sacrificing lives all for the good of humanity.
That's his reasoning.
It's still hard to swallow, you know?
I know it's a lot to take in.
So why did Jander have to die? What purpose did that serve?
Giscard calculated that Jander's death would discredit Amadiro and push the Auroran chairman to compromise with Earth.
So he used Jander as a pawn to get what he wanted.
In a way, yes.
That's pretty cold, even if it's for the greater good.
It's definitely unsettling.
And Baley, he must be conflicted, right? Seeing a robot play God like that.
Oh, he understands why Giscard did it, but he's troubled by it.
I can imagine.
It makes you think about, like, the limits of artificial intelligence, you know?
Like, how much power should we give these machines?
Exactly.
So what happens to Baley? He's fallen for Gladia, hasn't he?
He has, but he knows his duty is to Earth.
He can't stay with her.
It's a tough choice.
It is. It's like he wins for Earth but loses something precious at the same time.
In the end, he goes back to Earth, but he's not the same.
Oh, so?
He's seen so much. He's changed his views about robots, about space.
About humanity, maybe?
Yeah.
And what about Giscard? What happens to the mind-reading robot?
Well, he continues to serve Daneel.
The other humaniform robot?
Right, and Daneel's trying to guide humanity toward a better future.
A more peaceful one, hopefully.
But we don't know if Giscard's influence will lead to good or bad.
It's left open-ended.
Yeah, like Asimov wants us to think about the possibilities.
Makes you wonder what choices we'll make as a species.
And how technology will shape those choices.
That's a lot to think about, that's for sure.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into The Robots of Dawn.
It's a story that really makes you think, you know?
About the future.
About robots.
And about what it means to be human.
Absolutely. And that's why we love sci-fi, isn't it?
It challenges us to see the world in a new way.
And maybe even to change it for the better.
I think so.